Now, if you're a Chelsea fan, right, one thing you have to acknowledge is that at Chelsea, our right flank is more potent, is more dangerous in attack than our left flank. I mean, what I'm trying to say is at Chelsea, if you're a Chelsea fan, you would agree with me that attacks that come from our right flank is almost likely to result in a goal than attacks that come from our left flank. And I believe that that is what Enzo Maresca is trying to solve. Enzo Maresca is trying to ensure that the attack from the right flank and the attack from the left flank, they are both of them, they are dangerous, both of them, they are potent. And that is why he has gotten Alejandro Garnacho. Now, for me, I believe Alejandro Garnacho, right, is Enzo Maresca's version of Martinelli, Gabriel Martinelli at Arsenal. These are useful players who can guarantee results if they are used perfectly. Now, the honest truth is, Arsenal fans can talk shit about Gabriel Martinelli. They can ridicule Martinelli. In fact, I come on to talk shit about Martinelli. But the person to blame for that is actually Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta is no longer playing to the strengths of Gabriel Martinelli. I mean, do you remember Gabriel Martinelli? Is it not 2022, 2023, I mean 2021, 2022? But this season, the very first season that Gabriel Jesus joined Arsenal, that very first season, did you remember the numbers that Gabriel Martinelli outputted that season? That was when Mikel Arteta was playing to the strength of Gabriel Martinelli. So Gabriel Martinelli had output, he had results. But right now, Mikel Arteta is not playing to the strength of Gabriel Martinelli. That is why we are all talking shit of Gabriel Martinelli. But every team needs a 1v1 demon left winger that can cover the weaknesses of these players. And that is what Arsenal do not have. Again, Arsenal do not have that demonic 1v1 player that can cover the weakness of Gabriel Martinelli. That's why Martinelli is struggling. Because Martinelli is just still the number one starter there. He needs someone that can take the burden off him, that can cover his weakness. But Mikel Arteta does not have that. So everything looks like Martinelli does not know what he's doing. But at Chelsea, we have that. We have that for Alejandro Garnacho. We have Gittens. That is where Gittens comes in. He can take on defenders and he can create chances. He can take on defenders and he can create chances. So he can cover up for the weakness of Garnacho. Now, we all know the strength of Garnacho, running behind defenders. That is the strength. That is also the strength of Gabriel Martinelli. If you put this guy in 1v1, Garnacho in 1v1, Martinelli in 1v1, you are wasting their time. What you need to do is, when you have a transition opportunity, when you have a counter-attacking opportunity, send the ball behind the defense for them. They will use their speed to get the ball. That's the strength. So in that type of player, they don't work for all teams. They don't work for things like low block. So that is why you need people like Gittens. And Chelsea, we have Gittens because he's a 1v1 guy that can create chances. But Arsenal do not have that. Now, we also need to put a top left-hand side operator that would complete that Chelsea's left flank. Right? Now, finding that top left-hand side operator, that person that will be operating in that left half space, in that Chelsea's left flank, is what will now complete this attack that Enzo Maresca is building for Chelsea. I believe that is how Maresca is trying to perfect it. These are just my opinions. But I believe that Maresca is trying to perfect that left flank for Chelsea, because if you can add a top left-hand side operator, that will make Chelsea's left flank unstoppable. And this explains why Chelsea did not pursue Xavi Simons, right? Yes, the price was high. That was one of the reasons why we did not go for Xavi Simons. But another thing was because Xavi Simons was not what we preferred. Enzo Maresca preferred a left-footed number 8 or number 10 in that left half space so that he can balance Enzo Fernandez, who is already right-footed. Xavi Simons was right-footed, so there was no balance. He needed a left-footed number 8 on that left half space, right? Now, Kenan Dewsbury-Hall was the first experiment in all this. We tried, if you see, Kenan Dewsbury, when he was playing in that left half, he tried, but he did not really succeed. Kenan Dewsbury was the first experiment. Now, we've gone for this guy, Facundo Buonanotte. He's on loan, and I believe is the next experiment in that left half space. But in my opinion, I think Kendrick Pius is who they are looking at long term, and that is how Enzo Maresca is building a perfect left wing for Chelsea. And I believe that with time, it will actually work.